Okay, presets, scenes, blocks, channels. What? Okay, let's get to it. If you got one of these AM4s and you're new to Fractal and you're been pulling your hair out, that's why I decided to do this video. Happened to be on the Fractal forum and seeing a guy, and he was about ready to pull his hair out. He was having issues with the blocks and the channels, and he probably isn't the first and probably won't be the last. And I think a lot of the guys showing this product they show you how to do it and everything usually, and what they are and what they do. But I think maybe there's a use for a real simple video, so I'm going to try to do that right here. So hopefully I can keep people from pulling their hair out and getting on the forum, and I think a lot of them, they feel stupid or something like that. They get on there and trying to ask a question or whatever, or think the device itself is malfunctioning. Okay, presets. It's a little bit to me, it's a little kind of annoying. But, oh, by the way, real quickly, I'm an AxeFX 3 user for about 6 years, so I'm familiar with the Fractal environment. So the presets are in banks. So you got A 4 banks, B 4 banks, etc. Instead of just starting with 0 and then going up. That's a little, I don't know. To me, I don't know. I find that a little bit confusing myself on that part. But anyhow, those are all presets. Okay, so I can click right here, and I can change presets back and forth. And you'll notice under each preset you have 4 scenes. What are scenes? Okay, well, let's look down here. I'm going to be on the amp block here. Pay attention right here. This is the amp model that's being used. This here is the channel being used. So when I click scene 2, okay, so I'm on the amp block here. I'm on preset A1. I have 4 different scenes. I'm going to click on this. If you're not already clicked on it, click on the amp block here, highlight it, and you're going to see the basic controls right here. Pay attention to, this is the type. This is one of the 247 different amp channels or amps you can choose. Under each scene you have 4 channels per amp block. I'm going to switch this to scene 2 here in a second. You're going to see this is going to change. This will probably change, and this will change. Go to scene 2. You notice these all changed. Now I'm on channel B. Now I'm on a different amp model. Again, scene 3. These have all changed because I'm on a Plexi 50 watt amp model. This went to channel C. Again, scene 4. It's using a different amp model. Different controls here. Channel D. Now, that doesn't have to mean like, you can kind of think of it as like when you're on an amp block, the channel was like being an amp channel, like as in a multi-channel amp. But if you notice, we went through all these different scenes, that every scene was a different amp. But you could make that on scene 2 here. You could go and select any amp model you want. So if I wanted to, for example, see, scene 1 was using what was it, double verb vibrato. So if I wanted scene 2 to use the double verb vibrato, I have to then change it. Go and find double verb vibrato. Where's it at? Right there. Okay. Now it's on channel B, and A is the same thing. I can switch here too, look at it, whatever. But whatever I do right here, pay attention. I just change that. Okay. So that means I changed scene 2 to channel A amp. So let's put that back to where's that? B. So if I go to scene 1, I can select any one of these channels. Okay, I don't have to go. Scene 1 isn't connected to channel A and scene 2 to B and so forth. I can use all 4 scenes can use one channel, or all the channels, or 2 of them, or 3 of them. They can all be the different amps. They can all be the same amp. Just keep that in mind too when it's the same amp, because that was confusing for me when I first got into Fractal, because I choose scene 1, say I was making adjustments here, then I go to scene 2 and start making up my next scene, and it was staying on channel A, and I thought it would save that, but it doesn't. You need to, if you're going to use the same amp for the different scenes, you need to go to a different channel and then bring up that amp that you want, and then make your settings. This does the exact same thing on the any effect, whether it's reverb, delay. You have channels, okay, and then select whatever you want. Again, if you're using the same one with just different settings, make sure, you know, really pay attention to that. That's a part I think that'll confuse guys more than anything else when you first get started. What's the difference between, you know, presets, scenes, amp blocks, and block channels? I kind of think maybe Fractal, like maybe this will help you, I guess. Maybe think of blocks as being like say for instance you was in a studio and you're in the control room and all your gear is in a whole bunch of other rooms. So you might think of the block as being, I have a room full of amps. Okay? Of course the amps and cabs are in the same block on the AM4. But and then I have another room, let's say, and I have a bunch of rack gear with a bunch of reverb rack effect units. I'll go to the reverb block or the reverb room. Think of it like that, right? That makes sense? Hopefully that makes sense to you. Hopefully I'm not confusing you more, but that's the way I can kind of look at it. And then the channel thing, I think, of course, it seems to me it makes sense when it comes to an amp block, but when it's delay or reverb and all that kind of stuff, you can probably think of it as maybe like one, you can think of it as a preset, like say, okay, I'm going to go to the reverb block or reverb room, right? And then now I have different channels. I can think of these as different presets or different rack unit itself, or they could all be remember the channels they can all be the same one. I can go to, see, like this, if I do scene 2, see how that one changed. For that scene they're using a different reverb on that scene compared to scene 1. So when you're like, if you're looking at a preset and you're just going through, just kind of go through them all, look and see, you know, click on a scene. If it's off, like here I'll say it's off, you know, of course it's not on. You go, amp, it's using that amp. Okay, what delay is it using? It's using that delay. Okay, it's using that reverb. Okay, and again, the ABCD does not mean S1, S2, S3, S4. Okay, it's a little deceiving. Takes a minute to, you know, get your head wrapped around that one. But once you do, it all falls into place. It can get confusing at first and drive you up the wall. If you're making a preset, I highly suggest anything that you do, make any change, save. Anything you do, you like it, save. If you want to, like for example, let's just go down here and let's just do a quick one here. I want to use we'll use an amp block here. Say I'm going to make up a scene here, and of course you can just type it in. We'll just go we'll call it tone 1. Okay, and then I'm going to compare it with another one. We'll call it tone 2. Alright, now I just did that right now, right? And I just changed the scene names, and I'm on an empty preset, right? So maybe before I even get further than that, I should probably hit save, right? Yeah. So now I'm under empty. So instead of being called empty, let's change the name of that too. Let's call it, I don't know, new. Okay, so every one of these little things, I type anything in, anything can change. Save it. So right now I got a preset with 2 scene names and nothing else really. I haven't really done anything else with making any adjustments or anything. So, okay, let's go for amp 1. Let's go, let's say, for example, I want to go, let's go Plexi. And I want to use this amp model. I make all my adjustments here. Okay. And it's in channel A. Keep in mind where you just put that at. Because I saved it to channel A. Or I haven't saved it yet, but it's in channel A. So, okay. Save. Right. Now I want to go to scene 2. And, for example, let's go. Just turn these down. I'm not playing here at all. I'm just changing knobs just so you can see it. Okay. So, oh, wait a minute. What did I just do? I'm on channel A. I just made these settings. So what's it going to be when I go to scene 1? Ah, those same ones. I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to make 2 different ones with the same amp. So let's go back to clear that out. I'll go back to go back to factory. No, it didn't. Anyway, okay. So, oh, I know. Change to another one, then change it back. No, it's remembering that for some reason. But anyhow, oh, I know how. Change presets. These are the little quirks you got to figure out when you're using fractal gear. Okay, now we're back to normal. I didn't save that when it was changed, so that's why you need to save all the time. So I just showed you, yeah, if you don't save and then you go back to that preset again, you're like, where's all my changes? So anyhow, so we have scene 1 here, call it tone 1. I'm using this amp. It's in channel A. Now what I want to do is I'm just going to compare. I want to leave that, say I like it, whatever. And now I want to make use that same amp channel, but I want to do a couple little different versions here. I want to use more treble gain. Let's go bass that up, maybe turn that down, blah blah blah. Uh-oh, there I did it again. See, this is that confusing part. And I did this on purpose, right? So you'll get to understand what it's like. It's like crap. Okay, so now I just changed that. I forgot to change that channel, didn't I? Right? So I go back to scene 1. Guess what it's going to be? It's going to be exactly the same. All right, I'll get out of that preset. Go back to it again. Okay, now I want to make scene 2 different than that, right? Using the same amp, just different settings. Okay, I go to scene 2. Now here's where you got to go. I got to go to B. See, this is the part that'll drive you crazy. See how I did that for you? Messed up on purpose? Right? So now you know. Okay. So now that I put this on channel B, it's just bringing up by default that amp, but I want to use that same amp that was it was I using the jump? I think it was the jump, wasn't it? No, it wasn't a 1987X, it was a 1959. Is that what I was using on scene 1? Yeah. See, scene 1, channel A. All these settings, all at 5. Go to scene 2. Now I'm on channel B. Finally got it right? I want to use that same amp, but I want different tones now. Now, that's a different amp channel here. Okay. Now when I change this, okay, and I can go back to scene 1. See how it all changes? I'm on channel A there with those settings. Scene 2, I want to go to channel B so I can bring up these settings, although it's even the same amp. But I can make this be a different amp, right? So let's go to scene 3. I'm just going to call this tone 3 different amp. All right. Okay, so now I'm on scene 3, so first thing I need to do is what I need to do. I want to choose channel A, where I didn't change anything. Channel B, where I made all these changes. No, I want a totally different amp, right? So I need to go to something I'm not using, right? I need to go to channel C. So let's say on channel C, I want to use the Brit JM45. Okay, here we go. So there's all factory, just flat, right? Okay. So now let's say on scene 4, I'm going to use that same amp area to put it in tone 3, but I want it to be different settings, right? So I've already used my 3, right? A, B, and C on scene 1, scene 2, and 3. So I need to go to channel D, right? So now I'm going to choose that same amp. But this time, I'm going to make some changes to it, alright? Let's go like that or something. Okay, and I'll call this tone 4 different amp version 2 or something like that, whatever. Okay, now save, right? Don't forget to save. So now let's go look at what we got. We got scene 1, 59 SLP jumped, all these settings. It's using channel A. Scene 2, I'm on channel B, same amp. It's channel A, right? Okay, with the different settings. So now tone 3, different amp. So I'm using the Brit JM45. Okay, those settings. Scene 4 jumps to channel D, same amp as number 3, scene 3, but with different settings. So hopefully that makes sense. And this goes, like I said, it goes for any effect block that you use, does the same thing. So that channel thing, I think, could be, I don't know, I think if I designed it, maybe I would call that settings, you know, sorta. So like there's some other devices out there, like I think some people's like the Line 6 or something that has what do they call them, snapshots or something like that. And then there's, but you know, I guess that's kind of cool, and it's sort of kind of like scenes here. But from what I understand is you can't change amp channels, like different amps within that preset like that, or within that block at least. So, you know, Fractal's pretty powerful. It'll do all this. You just have to keep it in your head. That drove me, because it drove me nuts when I first started. I kept be on one scene making it, got the tongue, yeah, I like it, and then I forgot to, when I was making scene 2, to change that channel to a different one. Like I said, this doesn't correspond A, B, C, D. Like for instance, I can make scene 4 go back to channel A or channel B, the tones I had there, right? And then just hit save, and it'll save it that way. So that's that for this round of presets, scenes, blocks, and channels. Hopefully that helps.